Yeah! What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, only one KDB, and I'm back with another video. In today's video, we got 10 most savage roasts ever in WWE. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share. Oh yeah, Triple H, I gotta talk to you about something. Come here, Triple H. Come here, give me your ear, give me your ear, give me your ear. Come close to the camera. Triple H, when are you gonna put me in a WWE match? I've been sitting here waiting. I need to jump off the top rope, Triple H. That's always been a dream of mine. I want to jump from the top rope and pin somebody. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Triple H, get with me. Come on now. But we about to get to the video, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that post notification bell so you can get notified when I drop another banger. Let's get it, man. Shout out to WrestleMania.
What is that record? Like what?
Tiffany.
0-3?
The wrestling promo as a concept.
How you gonna start off with the most ass roast I've ever heard in my life? What is that record? Like 0-3? Is that supposed to be funny? My bad, y'all wrestlers. Y'all not supposed to be stand-up comedians. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
Has grown exponentially stale. The core idea is to generate intrigue and buzz ahead of an anticipated showdown. And whilst this is a far more nuanced method of drawing interest for a match than having the same wrestlers brawl every week on Raw, you're no longer left floored by a wrestler's choice of words or their delivery. Reading from a pre-approved script will have that effect, as was proven for decades under the Vince McMahon regime. Sometimes, however, a wrestler will throw out a scorching one-liner that leaves the audience stunned into silence. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 of the most savage burns in WWE. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Number 10, Samoa Joe goes the low road with Jeff Hardy. Regardless of whether the material has been agreed upon beforehand, the mockery of a person's well-documented history of substance abuse as a means to gaining heel heat on a scripted wrestling program should cease to exist. But that being said, Samoa Joe using Jeff Hardy's troubled past against him wasn't done to evoke a cheap reaction. Joe wanted to truly torture the charismatic enigma. He did precisely that, not once, but twice, between November 2018 and January 2019. First, he interrupted Jeff's 20-year celebration, apologizing for his tardiness by referencing popping some champagne bottles backstage. Offering Hardy a toast, he savagely stated,
"Maybe having a bottle of champagne around you isn't the best idea."
Continuing, Joe tore into Jeff's celebratory video package, making a vicious remark about how Hardy likely wasn't coherent enough at the time to form those memories in the first place. But then 2 months later, during a SmackDown segment that has done the rounds on wrestling Twitter more times than the WWE roster was stacked in 2008 meme, Samoa Joe tore into his Elimination Chamber foes, ruthlessly telling Jeff Hardy to shut his mouth while he was talking as if he was in an AA meeting. It was brutal stuff, and thankfully, it was all greenlit by Hardy. He discussed Joe's comments while talking to Joe Hayden on Guide Life, confirming that he doesn't have a problem with his problems forming part of his storylines. It helps a lot, especially because people relate with it. Even a friend of mine, they were in from out of town yesterday, and he said that when they were watching it, actually down with Matt Hardy, and he was like, yeah, I kinda got mad, because he's a recovering addict and all that too. He said, I was getting mad when he was saying you weren't coherent, can't bring the champagne too close. But you know, you gotta be confident in what you are and who you are, and I am. So none of those promos like that. It reminds me back in the day with CM Punk, you know, the same kind of issues. It's all good for the fans, it's good for us, and it's good for WWE. Number 9, Gunther settles the Bret Hart-Goldberg debate. Spoiler alert, Bret Hart hates Goldberg. I don't know, he may have mentioned this in a passing comment before. Hart, whose rightful vendetta against the multi-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion is a result of an errant superkick and an ability to correctly work the ring post figure 4 leg lock, costing the Hitman his in-ring wrestling career. As such, Bret will take every opportunity to rinse Goldberg, who has in turn profusely apologized for a mistake he made over 2 decades ago, and life will go on as normal.
Dang, you still holding a grudge from 2 decades ago, Bret Hart? Is it that deep? I mean, it is that deep to you because you said it ruined your in-ring career. My bad, Bret Hart. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean. I'm just saying, holding a grudge from 2 decades ago is diabolical. I'm not gonna lie, man. I would have just forgave him and said, fuck it. I just gotta forgive him for this. I ain't finna keep holding this grudge 2 decades ago. Like, that's insanity.
in the long line of Bret Hart-involved digs against Goldberg came up in September 2024 on a Raw broadcast from Hart's hometown, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Gunther, the then World Heavyweight Champion, interrupted Hart's return to WWE, informing him that while he had enjoyed watching the excellence of execution while he was an Austrian youngster, his actual childhood hero was Goldberg. Now let's face it, it wasn't exactly on the level of Sunny Days, but it drew an irksome reaction nonetheless. We're pretty sure that Bret Hart was pissed with that comment, as he seems to take everything to heart, pun intended. Number 8, Dean Ambrose revealed Triple H's daddy issues. It won't qualify for a dark side of the ring analysis, but a deep dive into Dean Ambrose's final months in WWE is a must. He had been switched off for months before the press release outlining his decision to leave in April 2019 was issued, but 3 months earlier, in January, he gave WWE one last glimpse of what they were about to lose. Having been chucked out of the Royal Rumble match the previous night like he was No Way Jose, Ambrose interrupted Seth Rollins' victory speech with Triple H, demanding a match with Seth right there and then. Triple H, who had the power to make such a demand a reality, smirked, walked off, and met Ambrose between the ropes, who had one simple question for his soon-to-be former boss.
Oh, what's the matter?
Do you have to ask permission from your father-in-law first?
Scripted or otherwise, this was Jon Moxley talking, not Dean Ambrose. He taught Triple H a new one in what was genuinely a fierce delivery, and then he got shunted by Nia Jax and Tamina, reaffirming that his decision to exit the company was a correct one. Number 7, Ronda Rousey mocks Nikki Bella's failed relationship. And with a series of developments that were almost too predictable to forecast, the breakdown of John Cena and Nikki Bella's relationship became the subject of every single storyline that involved.
Oh, Nikki Bella and John Cena did go out for like 2 seconds. I remember this. 2 seconds is crazy, but it just seemed like it ended quickly.
Nikki Bella. In 2018, Ronda Rousey made a bold declaration that did little to build to her and Nikki's match at Evolution, and instead came across as a cheap, unnecessary crowd-popping line. Referencing the impact Nikki had made on women's wrestling, Ronda quipped,
"The only door you ever knocked down was the door to John Cena's bedroom."
Ooh! Oh my God!
Effects, and appeared to be a scripted line, given that it followed on naturally from what Nikki had uttered. But it read more like Ronda was struggling to get the babyface reaction she was waiting for. Reflecting on the incident, Nikki expressed her hope that this wouldn't define the rest of her career. "I've grown thick-skinned to it. I just can't wait for the day it can stop, and not every promo towards me brings up my ex. And I think it will stop. I think there will come a day for that, but maybe there won't. But I do hope so." 7 years later, and Nikki's hopes are yet to be listened to. As number 6, Becky Lynch mocks Nikki Bella's failed relationship. Returning to WWE in 2025 for what she later described as a final run, Nikki Bella is still fending off feuds by her failed relationship with John Cena. It was a turn of Becky Lynch this time, whose relationship and subsequent marriage to Seth Rollins had been on again, off again, a focal point of her own career. Meeting Nikki face to face on the post-SummerSlam Raw, Nikki, who was casting her name as a contender for Becky Lynch's Women's IC Championship, referenced Becky's hot husband. Cue Becky rebutting that she and Seth are the greatest wrestling couple of all time, unlike Nikki Bella and John Cena because, quote,
Oh wait, you can't see him anymore.
Unlike Ronda Rousey's unneeded deep cut, this was Becky Lynch at her heel best, stooping to such a level without going too far. Number 5, John Cena calls Cody Rhodes a Nepo baby. It was a cute idea, the John Cena heel turn, but one that quickly turned sour once The Rock and Travis got pulled out of their obligatory duties, leaving Cena left to float around until he was eventually rebooted as a happy-go-lucky babyface once again. But that's not to say that Cena wasn't delivering inspired performances during his first few weeks in his newfound role. Cena, as the unthinkable bad guy, roasted innocent children, promised to ruin professional wrestling, and called Cody Rhodes a Nepo baby. Inherently hilarious because it genuinely came out of nowhere. The war of words came as Cena expressed anger at seeing what the WWE Championship had become. In full, his visceral takedown of the American Nightmare went as follows. A paint-by-numbers sociopath Nepo baby who is so into himself he had his wrestling gimmick tattooed for the world to see. It's not where your tattoo's at, Cody. It's what your tattoo is that exposes you to the world for who you are. A common fan like them. Number 4, Rhea Ripley insinuates Dominic Mysterio has a small package. What you're about to watch and listen to will sound like something straight out of a direct-to-DVD elementary school movie, because WWE is so desperate for an easy crowd-popping one-liner. You see, at SummerSlam 2024, WWE provided a big blow-off to a slow-burning storyline in which Liv Morgan replaced Rhea Ripley within the Judgment Day. With that came the backstabbing of Dominic Mysterio, Rhea's so-called on-screen lover, who aided Liv in putting Ripley down to remain the Women's World Champion. On a subsequent edition of Raw addressing the betrayal, Rhea made the following remark, which the crowd couldn't get enough of. "Dominic, you stabbed me in the back, and the thing is, and this is probably something that you've heard before, it just wasn't deep enough."
Yo, yo, Triple H, I gotta give it to you, man. You be writing some of the greatest promos I ever heard in my life. It just wasn't deep enough. It's crazy. Yo. Saying that a man got a small package on national television is diabolical, man. I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy.
The fact that Dirty Dom supposedly had a tiny manhood, which Liv Morgan was quick to shut down on social media. It was a childish insult, especially coming from one like Rhea Ripley, who's been presented as a modernistic China. But nevertheless, it did its job, and it did its job very well. Number 3, CM Punk states the obvious. Now, it should be of no surprise that a promo exchange between CM Punk and LA Knight got deeply personal. Both are bona fide legends of the promo game, capable of delivering searing verbal takedowns of their rivals without blinking an eye. Building their World Heavyweight Championship #1 contendership triple threat match, which would see Jey Uso as the third man, Punk and Knight went back and forth, with LA Knight bringing up Punk's historical, well-documented relationship with Seth Rollins. In retaliation, CM Punk mocked Knight's lack of WWE World Championship victories. LA was clearly caught off guard by the comment, taking a few moments to compose himself. This was a potent delivery from CM Punk, but even more potent was the exposing of WWE's failure to capitalize on LA Knight. In fact, this wasn't a shot at LA Knight, it was a shot at WWE's booking. You must always be careful when treading this line, particularly if there's no immediate plans to rectify the problem. And right now, it still sticks. Number 2, Roman Reigns mentions he who shall not be named. Vince McMahon resigned from WWE in July of 2022 following the emergence of various sexual assault allegations and hush money settlements. McMahon could not move forward as a face of WWE given both the severity and substance of the issues being unearthed. His retirement did not, however, go unmentioned on WWE television. Austin Theory, a longtime Vince McMahon pet project who had just become Mr. Money in the Bank and who likely would have been a multi-time WWE champion by now if Vince had his way, dared to interrupt Roman Reigns on the pre-SummerSlam Raw. Theory promised to cash in his Money in the Bank contract and remove Roman from his position as head of the table, but Reigns in a scorching takedown reminded him,
"Your daddy's not here anymore."
Cue a chant of "Who's your daddy?" Cue Roman Reigns breaking character because of it. Cue the end of Austin Theory's WWE career. Still probably hasn't recovered. And number 1, Drew McIntyre tells Ricochet to shut up. Speaking of people who never recovered from a burning takedown, it took Ricochet over 5 years and an entire jump to AEW before he recovered from being cut off at the knees by Drew McIntyre. Appearing alongside Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman and the Scottish Warrior on an otherwise dull A Moment of Bliss segment, Ricochet interrupted Drew's talking down of Corbin, stating that he hadn't come here to talk, but Drew's response was simple and quick.
"But I didn't come here to talk."
Then shut up!
But this wasn't so much about what Drew said,
So
but
that man
also
to shut
about the
up.
timing of it and the impact with which it was delivered. Had Drew stumbled over his lines or waited a few extra seconds, then there's every chance that he would not have become a 3-time world champion. As for Ricochet, he was left dumbfounded, discovering that in that precise moment, he had made the biggest mistake of his career by signing that WWE contract. But there you have it, folks, 10 of the most savage burns.
But that's gonna do it for the video. If y'all enjoyed that reaction video, if you made it to the end of the video, comment W WrestleMania if you made it to the end of this video. Now, I want to know who made it to the end of the video now. And if you made it to the end, make sure you like the video before you leave. You should have liked it at the beginning, before you even got to the end. But hey, man, smash that like button because it do help me get in the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be dropping, I'm telling you, we're going to be dropping bangers all 2026, man. 2025 too, like 2026 out here, I'm telling you. We're going to be on top real soon. But I'm out of here, man.